Hello everyone, welcome to CSC Core Concepts in the series of Computer Networks. In this video, we are going to discuss about the physical layer in detail. So let us get introduced to the physical layer. So basically it is responsible for the physical transmission of raw bits over a network medium. So we have been talking about the transport layer, data link layer, network layer. So the data is actually generated at the application layer. Thereafter it is segmented in the transport layer. The same data is divided further into packets in the network layer, which is broken into frames in the data link layer. In the data link layer, and thereafter in the physical layer, the data is finally transmitted in the form of raw bits. So this layer defines the electrical, mechanical, and the procedural interfaces for the data transfer, dealing with the hardwares like such as cables, connectors, and hubs, encoding digital data into signals like voltage pulses or radio frequencies, encoding and decoding techniques. So this layer's responsibility is to establish, maintain, and deactivate the physical connection between the devices. So now there are various transmission media. So transmission media are also known as the communication channel. So they provide the physical path through which the data is passing either in the form of electromagnetic signals or as light pulses travels from sender to receiver. So basically transmission media are divided into two categories. One is the guided media and another is the unguided media. So in guided media, the waves, the electromagnetic signals or waves are guided along a physical path. So the examples are twisted pair, cables, and optical fibers. Whereas in case of unguided media, the transmission of electromagnetic waves do take place, but they don't guide them. So they are propagated through air, vacuum, seawater, that is more or less wireless. So we talk about the direct link. It is used to refer to the transmission path between two devices where the transmission is a direct link when we say that there is a direct connection between the transmitter and the receiver and there are no intermediate devices other than amplifiers or repeaters. Amplifiers and repeaters are used to increase the strength of the signal. So transmission medium is a guided transmission medium. You can call it point to point if you have one common cable and it is connecting from one computer to the another. You can have multi-point also where one device is connected to the multiple devices and share the same medium. So what is transmission medium? So transmission media are divided into two types, guided and unguided, as I told you. Now guided have the coaxial cables. Coaxial cables are of two types, baseband and broadband. You have fiber optics and you have twisted pair, which can be of two categories, unshielded and shielded. And unguided media, which is the media that is radio waves, microwaves or infrared. So let us have a look at each one of them in guided media, starting with guided media. So it is referred as also called as bounded or wired media. So guided media, wired media, there is a wire, right? Exclusive wire. So they are the actual channels that are directing the signals through the connected devices. The very common and the cheapest one is the twisted pair. So you might have seen twisted pair in many of the electrical appliances at your home. So they consist of two separately insulated conductor wires. There are separate insulated wires wound about each other. So they are twisted as if you are making your hair braid, right? So generally several such pairs are bundled together in a protective sheet. So upper covering is there. So they are most widely used the transmission media. So it looks like this. So if you open that wire, if you using a blade or something, so you can see in the inner side there are copper wires, okay, metals. So that is your twisted pair. Next comes your unshielded twisted pair. Now twisted pair can be of two types, shielded and unshielded. So unshielded means you have two insulated copper wires twisted around each other. So they have the ability to block interference and do not depend on any physical shield. They do not require any covering. Okay, so basically these are used for the telephone application, telephone lines. So obviously they are least expensive, no very less expenses, easy to install and high speed capacity. But the disadvantage is that their capacity and performance is low as compared to shielded ones. Okay, we will see next what is shielded. And and it can cover only very short transmission, only for short distance because of attenuation. We will talk about attenuation, that is weakening of the signal. Then comes the shielded twisted pair, which consists of a special jacket, a copper braid covering the foil to block the external interference so that there is no noise or any other external factor which is disturbing the wire. So it is used in fast data rate. You can see the Ethernet cable, LAN cable, voice and data channels of telephone lines. So obviously it has a better performance and high data rate as compared to unshielded. They eliminate the crosstalk. There is no cross connection because they are covered properly and faster. And disadvantage is that they are difficult to install and manufacture and of course more expensive than your unshielded twisted pair. Next category of guided media is the coaxial cable, which has the outer plastic covering containing insulation layer of PVC or Teflon. You might have seen that plastic type of a bigger, fatter wires, right? So they have separated insulated. That plastic covering is given protection for insulation. So it transmits in two modes, that is the baseband mode, that is a dedicated cable bandwidth, and another is the broadband, which is split into separate ranges, broadband cables. So cable TV and analog television networks widely use the coaxial cables. If you see your TV connection with Tata Sky and all, so the big fat plastic covering wire, that is your coaxial cable. Then the advantages are here, it's obviously higher bandwidth as compared to the twisted pair, easier to install, reliable and durable. Okay, they will not break easily. They are less affected by noise or other electromagnetic interference and they support multiple channels. But of course, they are expensive than twisted wires and must be grounded in order to prevent any crosstalk. They have multiple layers, so they are very bulky and little bit heavy in weight, and chance of breaking and attaching the T-joint by hackers. This compromises the security. The joint point of the coaxial cable can be considered as a compromise for security. So earlier this was very common that hackers would join their wires and they would read all the data. Then comes for the guided media, you have the optical fiber cable. So optical fiber cable are using the technology of optics, that is light. So they work on the total internal reflection of light made up of glass. So they were surrounded by dense layer of glass and of course that glass has to be covered with a big plastic covering coating. So it is used for transmission of large volumes of data. When you have the high speed fiber optics cable, we say no. So cable can be unidirectional or bidirectional. That is, it can flow the data from one direction or both the direction. And the advantage is that obviously the capacity is highest as compared to your twisted pair or your other ones, that is coaxial cable. They are very lighter in weight, less signal attenuation, the electromagnetic interference can be there, is less, sorry, and it is resistant to corrosive materials. See, copper and all, they can get corroded very easily, but glass will not get corroded. So longevity is high. The disadvantage is that it is difficult to install. Installation requires too much of work and maintenance is required and it is very costly. Majorly the optical fiber cables are used in medical purposes, defense purposes, in aerospace engineering, for communication where more internet cables, high speed broadband, and industrial purposes for safety measures in designing the interior and exterior of automobiles. Then we come to the unguided media. So unguided media can be radio waves, that is they pass through air, water and all. So radio waves are easy to generate and penetrate through the buildings. So we require some good penetration power. So the sending and the receiving antennas need not be aligned. So frequency range of the radio waves can be 3 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz. So majorly the radio waves applications are used by your FM, AM radio stations. You have cordless phones, okay, where you did not sit and talk there only, you can move around. So they are using the radio waves. Then comes the microwaves. So microwaves is a line of sight transmission, that is you must have two antennas, both side on the transmitter side and the receiver side. So from that antenna to another antenna only they are used. Okay, so they are used for this mobile phone towers. Okay, they are your microwaves. Television distribution, we have a huge disk, right? So Tata Sky and all, they come with some discs. So that is the television distribution. So the range of the microwaves, the how much distance it can cover is proportional to the height of the antenna. So that is why these type of Doordarshan antennas, or you can say the mobile antennas, are very, very taller. So more the height it is, the more distance they can cover. And the frequency range is from 1 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. Then comes the infrared waves. They are used for very short distance communication. Okay. So short distance means they cannot penetrate through the obstacles. So like your TV remote, then you have the wireless mouse, keyboard, printers. So which wireless technology, but at a very short distance. If I keep my laptop at one room and if I take the mouse in the office, will I be able to work? No. Like a remote of your AC TV remote up to a certain distance. So the frequency range is from 300 gigahertz to 400 terahertz. So it is used in TV remotes, wireless mouse, keyboards, printers, etc. So let us talk about the transmission modes. So there are different methods of transferring data between the devices on buses and networks. So there is a transmission mode, is the simplex mode, half duplex mode and full duplex mode. So what is a simplex mode? Simplex mode is the unidirectional mode. So only one of the two devices on a link can transmit at a time. So like your keyboard or monitors, okay, either you are typing, okay, it is not two-way. So keyboard can only introduce the input, monitor can only give the output like that, okay. But yes, if you talk about the touchscreen monitors, they are not, right? They can give input also. So advantages of simplex mode is that they are easiest and reliable mode of communication. Cost effective, that is because you require only one way communication channel and no coordination is required. Okay, you don't need a coordination, which simplifies the communication process. So it is useful in situation where feedback or response is not required, such as a broadcasting or surveillance, like your CCTV surveillance and all. So only it is inputting data, it is not giving any output data. The disadvantage is that there is only one way of communication and no way to verify that it has been received correctly, and not suitable for application where you require the bidirectional communication. Next comes your half duplex mode, where both of them can send and receive, but only one at a time. So when one is sending, the other can only receive, that's all. So half duplex mode is used where there is no need for communication in both for the same time. Like if I am asking something, then only you reply. We don't need to talk at the same time. So entire capacity of the channel can be used for one direction. So example, walkie-talkie messages and all, they are using the half duplex mode. Obviously, advantage is that it allows, at least better than simplex, that it allows bidirectional communication and more efficient than simplex mode. But the disadvantage is that they are less reliable than full duplex, that we will talk later. There is a delay in the transmission and reception. So once the sender is sending a message, it has to wait and then it can get a reply. So there is a need for coordination also, that once a question has been asked, the reply has to be received and then again you talk. So coordination is required. Then comes the full duplex mode, that is both stations can transmit and receive simultaneously. So in full duplex mode, signals going in one direction share the capacity of the links. So both of them can talk together, like a telephone communication, like your chat server. So either link contains two physical, you can have two ways. One is that you can use a common channel which is shared between both of them in both directions, or you can contain two physical separate paths, one for sending and one for receiving. So if you are using the same channel, then you have to divide the channel between two directions, okay, uplink and downlink. So the telephone network, this type of devices, there is a full duplex mode where there is a simultaneously bidirectional communication, okay, like chat servers and all. So they are most efficient method of communication and they provide a high level of reliability. But of course, they are very, very expensive, more complex and not suitable for all application because it requires a very high level of bandwidth for receiving as well as for transmitting. Now the types of the transmissions are synchronous and asynchronous. So in synchronous transmission, you should have a synchronization between the sender and receiver. So there is no time gap between the data. Okay, so it is more efficient and reliable than synchronous. So it is in the full duplex type. Understood? And this is synchronous. So they will keep on sending the data. So both sender and receiver are synchronized with a common clock signal. So at the tick of the clock, you know when they operate at the same speed, sender and receiver, sending and receiving both at the same time. So they are working at the full duplex mode in a continuous stream without any gaps. So example, chat rooms, video conferencing. So continuous data is flowing. And second is the asynchronous transmission where data is in the form of byte or character. So basically there are start, now it is like here. Okay. So asynchronous means what? You have no common clock signal. So you have this type of start and stop bits. So this will tell that this is the start bit of this receiver. This is the start bit. This is the end bit, stop bit. So this is how like emails, forum, they are fixed. They are not continuous type of a data. Okay. So data is sent one byte or a one character at a time. So each data is sent independently. There can be gaps in that. Each data can be sent in a packet. So you don't require a synchronization. Understood? So let's say emails, letters and forums. So let us talk about the transmission impairments. So impairment is what? The imperfection is. Imperfections. So what are the imperfections can cause in the transmission? So attenuation, delay, distortion and noise. So in attenuation, the strength of the signal falls off. If you are going over a very long distance, the strength of the strength of the signal will fall. So for wireless transmission, attenuation is more complex because you have distance, atmosphere interference, or the other signal interference and all. Delay distortion. So delay distortion happens when you have delays in arriving at the destination. So it can be because of many reasons, okay, that like antennas from each frequency have its own speed, own traveling medium. So there are different types of cases because of which there is a delay in the receiving of the packet. Then you have the noise. So what is the noise? Is the undesired signals are referred as noise. So which you do not require but they are coming in your transmission. So noise can be divided into four categories: thermal noise, intermodulation noise, crosstalk and impulse noise. So thermal noise is what? It comes in every type of a device. It is the heated noise. That is because of the movements of the electrons, the heat is generated in any type of a device. So this noise is called as a thermal noise, which is uniformly distributed across the bandwidth. Otherwise, you have the intermodulation noise. When different frequencies are going through the same medium, they can cross each other. So that is called as the intermodulation noise. Suppose in a frequency band, two frequencies are going, one is 4000 Hertz and one is 8000 Hertz. So they might produce an energy of 12,000 Hertz. So noise could interfere at 2000 Hertz. Understood? Then you have the crosstalk. So crosstalk is like when you might have experienced it in telephone earlier. It was very common when we used to have the landline phones. So unwanted coupling of the signal, so somebody else's voice you could hear, that is called as crosstalk. And finally is the impulse noise, which is non-continuous. It consists of irregular pulses or noise spikes. So it is generated from variety of causes including electromagnetic disturbance, lightnings and other type of faults in the communication system. So finally, we will discuss some of the important concepts like data rate. So what is the data rate? It is the speed of the transmission. Bandwidths, many times students get confused between data rate and bandwidth. So what is the difference is that bandwidth is the amount capacity, how much data can be transferred, and data rate is the speed of transmission. And of course, we spoke about noise and error rate. We know that the rate at which the error occurs. So this is all about your physical layer. So if you understood and you like the video, please press the like button and do share and subscribe to CSC Core Concepts. Thank you.